everyone, this is Hayley Kamatra bringing you Pokemon Art Academy. I am back with my second video in the series, and today I am going to go back and do Froakie and Piplup, and I've decided to I'm going to try releasing my videos twice a week, and I'm going to try releasing them on Wednesdays and Saturdays to make them a little bit more evenly spaced. So we'll try that, and we'll see how my data plan works with that. I'm not sure how long it's going to take for me to draw Froakie and Piplup, so I may attempt to do it as a speed drawing, and I don't know, depending on how much time it takes, I may even do the Oshawott lesson as well. So we're going to start with Froakie, and let's speed up! So what I'm going to talk about today, I know that Sarcasm the Sickness has been sick lately. Most likely by the time this video is uploaded, she'll be feeling lots better. So STS, if you're feeling better, I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better, and if not, I hope you get well soon. It really is no fun knowing that you're sick. I mean, it's no fun being sick under any circumstances. I mean, anyone who has been really sick knows that being sick sucks, or being in the hospital for whatever reason. But in addition to being sick, to be sick while you're away from your home and away from your family and away from what's familiar, that is like really, really bad. And I know from personal experience what that's like. Like roughly 10 years ago, I was working at a summer job at a camp/family resort up in the mountains, like halfway across the country. And you may be wondering to yourselves, what in the world was this crazy girl doing traveling halfway across the country just to do a summer job? Well, first of all, my older sister was the one who got me involved in it. She was already there, and she called me one day and said, "Hey, you want to come up here?" And we talked on the phone for about half an hour about this place, and we very rarely ever talk on the phone at all. And so her telling me about the place got me really interested. And so I thought, you know, if it's good enough for her to call me and ask me if I want to travel halfway across the country to experience it, I'll go up there and I'll try it. So I went up and I tried it, and I loved it so much that I ended up spending 5 summers up there. And my sister only went for 2 summers, and her second summer was my first summer. But I got such a good vibe from that place that I went there 5 times. Anyway, in my 3rd summer there, we were at a point where we were at the winding down period, and we were getting ready to close up some stuff. Because the typical summer period for most people of the working there for the summer jobs is from Father's Day up until Labor Day. Now, most of the people who sign up for these summer jobs, they're either high school juniors or seniors, or they're first year or second year college students. And so the people in that group are usually the first ones to leave. And that tends to happen around the first week or 2 of August. And that's also a period where there are a lot of fewer guests staying at that place, so it was fine that those people were leaving at that time. That particular summer, like it was just past the middle of August, I woke up one morning at about 5:30 a.m. and I felt really congested, like so badly congested. It was so bad that I felt like my nose was going to explode. And I had a really bad sinus headache that went with it, and I felt kind of feverish, and I literally couldn't breathe except when I had my mouth open. I could not breathe through my nose at all. And so I got up and I quietly left my room so that I wouldn't wake up my roommates. And I walked over to the room where our chaperone was sleeping, because she was luckily still there. I managed to wake her up and ask her to call the camp nurse, because I knew that there was no way that I could get back to sleep in this condition. So we managed to wake up the nurse, and and the chaperone took me to the camp infirmary so that the camp nurse could examine me. And by that time, it was almost like 6 o'clock in the morning. And the camp nurse, she suspected that I had a really bad sinus infection, but she wanted to take me to the local clinic that was in the town outside the camp to confirm that. Part of the problem was the clinic didn't open until 8 o'clock, but it would have actually taken longer to get me to the nearest hospital. That's how far away the nearest city that had a hospital was. Um, so she managed to make me a little bit more comfortable, and I was able to get a little bit more sleep in the infirmary. And we got to the local clinic like just before it opened at 8 so that they could see me first thing. Well, not long after I was admitted in, the nurse at the clinic, she was doing her usual examination, and that included me lifting up my shirt so that she could put the stethoscope on my back to listen to my breathing. Well, when I lifted my shirt, the clinic nurse, she asked me, "How long have you had that rash on your side?" And I looked down towards my hip, and sure enough, there was a tiny rash on my side. It wasn't even 2 inches long. Like, like if it was 2 inches long, it couldn't have been much longer than that. And so I said, what do you know? I've got a rash on my side. And it turns out that this rash was at the very beginning stage of shingles. Now, in case you never experienced shingles or don't know someone who did, or if you don't have any medical knowledge, shingles is essentially the adult version of chickenpox. It's not as contagious as chickenpox, but it can cause some serious nerve damage. So I was very lucky that we caught this so early on. So in addition to the pills being prescribed to me to treat the sinus infection, I was also prescribed some pills to counter the shingles virus, as well as a cream to treat the rash itself. So it was a little bit after 9 o'clock when we got back to the camp infirmary. Now, I hadn't had breakfast yet, so I was given like something to eat to go with the pills so that we could start the treatment right away. And about 15 minutes later, I suddenly had a really strong urge to vomit. I made it to the bathroom in time, but I found that everything that I had eaten and the pills that I had took, they were all in the toilet after I threw up. And so it turns out, in addition to a bad sinus infection and shingles, I had a stomach virus. So I couldn't really start the treatment until we were able to get the stomach virus under control. So there I was, hundreds of miles away from home. I was supposed to catch a flight in 2 days to take me home, and I had all of this crap essentially keeping me bedridden in the camp infirmary. And man, I was so pathetically sick when I realized that I had all three of these things wrapped up together at the same time. And not only did I feel bad physically, I also felt bad emotionally. Like, most of the friends that I had made during the summer, they had already left to go back home or to go back to school. And the few that were still there were leaving at about the same time that I was supposed to. So I didn't have a lot of visitors coming to visit me and give me get well wishes. I was too sick to work or do anything. So I was so bored out of my mind. And I didn't have my parents there to help take care of me. And my sister wasn't even there that year. So I was almost on my own, really. We had to cancel my flight to take me home because obviously you can't be on a plane when you have a sinus infection. So in addition to being really lonely, I was so incredibly homesick. Like, I wanted to be home as soon as possible, and I was really pathetic. I ended up staying in the camp infirmary for the better part of like 5 days. I still wasn't fully healed by that time, but at least the sinus infection was gone and the stomach virus was long taken care of. So I could at least go home and continue the shingles treatment under the care of my parents. I was also a college student at the time, so I ended up missing out on a semester because I just didn't have the energy to focus on school even when I was recovering. Um, so basically, the point of this story is simply to say that I understand what it's like to be sick when you're away from home. Um, and the only way that I can describe how I made it through was the fact that I took it one day at a time, even though that was so incredibly boring and disheartening. Um, so, STS, I hope you're feeling better soon if you aren't already. And just like that, we have drawn Froakie, Piplup, and Oshawott. We have done 3 water-type starters in one night. That is awesome. That is so awesome. Let's save and finish. And the background looks pretty cool too. I'm hoping that eventually we might be able to draw our own backgrounds, but we'll take it one step at a time. And now that we have completed the Oshawott lesson, now we can move on to the Fennekin lesson. Or we could also go back and do the mini lessons. We could do it with Chespin, Tepig, and Squirtle, which is probably what I'm going to do in the next episode. So in the comments section below, tell me about who you look up to. It doesn't have to be someone in real life. Doesn't necessarily have to be a real person, but if you look up to someone from a TV show or something like that, or your favorite vocalist, who do you look up to when it comes to inspiration? All right, I think that does it for tonight's video. I'll see you guys later. Bye.